Hey everybody, it's Ken MRBHS. Welcome back to our Spanish Inheritance campaign in Medieval Total War. If you're following along with the dates here, you'll notice that things are a bit farther ahead than you may expect. And that is because I'm saving you about 3 hours of view time and myself about, many more than that hours worth of uploading. I've had a couple of recording sessions in which we've proceeded and gone ahead, and we got the main thing that you missed was that we got a marriage offer from the Hungarians. They sent a princess over, and she ended up marrying my heir. Now, the current heir is Enrique. He is right here. He's 28. He is currently unmarried, so that's, making me a little nervous, I guess. He is a great warrior, secret perversion in this time frame. And the current king, Ferdinand I, is 61, so he will be dying soon. We do have a few other heirs, one of which has not quite come of age yet, but there is still time, basically, for us to kind of scramble to make a marriage happen if we feel like we need to, or just kind of wait. Because if you've been following the series, you know that the working hypothesis at this point is that in order to inherit land from the AI, one of the conditions seems to be that the AI has to offer you the princess, which is very frustrating if that's true. I'm not 100% sure that it is true, and that is because I've had a couple of experiences where, although the AI did offer me a princess, and I did eliminate the faction in the reign of that king who offered me the princess, I didn't inherit. Once that happened on another campaign, a side campaign I'm playing just for myself with the Scots. Didn't inherit in that version where the Picts sent me their princess and I wiped out the Pictish royal family in kind of one go. And the second time was the Hungarians in this campaign. So the Hungarians sent me that princess. I got very excited. Came right over with inquisitors and assassins and wiped out the royal family in the manner that I think I needed to. That is, first making sure there were no heirs, and then killing the very king, this guy, Laszlo III, who offered me the princess. And I did not inherit. And so I reloaded, I tried a few other things, and then of course, once you start reloading, things go very differently, and it became kind of just difficult to track. But the long and the short of it is that I never ended up inheriting from the Hungarians. And on one of those reloads, I noticed something interesting about the text of how the Hungarians were presented. That is, when the princess was offered to me, the notice on the message said that it was being offered by the Burgundians and not the Hungarians. Now, if you've played Medieval Total War, you will notice a few textual oddities like that. For example, there are some times where you'll be approached by a princess from the Papal States, and what they really mean there is, I think, the Sicilians. It is unusual because there is a Burgundian faction that can emerge in the late period. Basically, what I'm wondering is it glitched somehow? Are the Hungarians just not possible to be inherited from because the game thinks they're the Burgundians, or they get coded that way or something? Or it simply could be a visual glitch, a textual, like a typo, and it actually affects nothing. But what I wanted to do this time is just get back to sort of a typical kind of universe where we are not marrying into the Hungarian family, since I know that doesn't work, or at least it didn't work when I tried it, a couple of times repeatedly. And we'll just play on from this point. If it is not a problem with the coding of the Hungarians, then we have maybe bigger problems here with unraveling the inheritance mechanic. And that is because if it's not a glitch, and it may not be, because again, as I mentioned, I was not able to inherit through princess offer via the Picts, then it could be that the inheritance mechanic just has a few more factors that are very difficult, if not impossible, to test. One of those factors could be just random chance. So let's say the criteria are this. The AI offers you a princess. It has to be a marriage with your king or your heir apparent, let's say. And then that AI king has to die with no heirs, and the princess needs to be alive still, right? So let's say all those things happen. If then the game adds a dice roll on top of all of that to determine if you might inherit, like let's say there's a 50% chance or a a 1% chance or a 70% chance, right? Who knows? Then this mechanic is very hard to test, right? So that's one. It could just be a random chance. And if that is a random chance, then it could be that maybe you can inherit by asking a princess to marry into your family, but the chance is just low enough that it's kind of rare, and I don't have a large enough sample size yet to have encountered it working out that way. So I don't know, right? It could be that the AI needs to send you their princess, or it might not. It might just be that I lucked out in my Scots campaign, the one time when I have inherited, and I just haven't been able to replicate it because the random chance is low enough. So that's very frustrating, makes testing a bit difficult. The other factor, again, difficult or impossible to test, could be that the nature of the princess matters, specifically the princess's relationship with her king, the king of her faction. So possibly when I inherited at playing as the Scots, possibly the princess I married there was the daughter of that king, and the other times I've been trying to inherit, the princess was not the daughter of her faction's king, right? And maybe that really matters. So to test all of that, I'm not sure how that would have to happen. What I'm envisioning in my future is an incredibly thorough and tedious campaign, one that I probably will not record, where I have a list of all the princesses that I come across in the game with their names and their ages, listing all the kings of all the factions in the game, identifying their heirs when possible, right? And of course keeping track of my own family members, and just really tracking it to that level and trying to figure out, okay, maybe I'll try to get this princess to marry me, but not the other one. So, that might be something I try, because why not? But for the purposes of this campaign, what I wanted to do is just kind of get to a point past the Hungarian issue, because I didn't want to, have an eliminated faction here. Let's keep them in play a little bit, and let's just see what happens. We may get some more marriage offers, because we only have 2 allies. We're allied with the papacy, and we're allied with the Germans. And so what I plan to do from this point on is simply accept marriage offers. We've got a ridiculous amount of assassins, although a lot of these guys are kind of low, 1 or 2 stars for quite a few of them. But I'm getting 3 stars out of Cordoba, and I will be getting 3-star assassins out of Valencia pretty soon. And I think we're just going to go and get assassination buildings in Portugal too. Why not? So the plan is to focus on just making sure I've got all the agents that I need. We are also in Castile developing a reliquary for Grand Inquisitors, also plus 2 morale in this province. That's kind of a nice side effect. But we've seen that the regular Inquisitors are not always able to deal with some of the royal family. So I think Grand Inquisitors are much more effective. So even though they don't get the Valor bonus in Castile, it'll still be nice to have them on the map. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Just accept marriage offers that come my way, and otherwise, don't. Hope that hope that we get marriage offers. If it looks like we're going to lose the campaign because we don't have any heirs, then I'll do something about that. But we'll just have to see. If the campaign ends, then it ends. We are also just going to continue to crank out ships to make sure we've got strong visibility everywhere. We're keeping an eye on the Golden Horde. Okay, yes, we do have these Inquisitions, which are going to be annoying. And I sent... So that's a marriage that I sent over here because this guy was looking a little disloyal. He's still not looking great, King of Navarre. He doesn't... I mean, he's a very, very former prince, right? This is a Royal Knights unit. So what I could do is just put him underneath my king's stack if I was really concerned about it. But yeah, king is now 62. So we're just going to keep an eye on princesses. We're going to keep going and just double check buildings. We don't have anything we need to build, so there we go. I just aim to kind of blast through this campaign. Hopefully auto-resolving. We want to kind of avoid having to fight battles because this is really... We're in the testing phase here. I think what I'd like to do, if I were to try this again, and maybe do it in kind of a fun way, so we're not going to get the Turks or the Egyptians, is I'd probably play as the Byzantines, actually. The Byzantines have... Let me just check my loyalty everywhere real quick. The Byzantines have some nice advantages for trying out this kind of playstyle, I think. I can't remember if they get princesses offered to them from the other factions regularly. They might not, because they're an Orthodox faction and most of the princesses come from Catholic factions. But the Byzantines do have one advantage, and that is that they start right next to... Alright, so the Holy Roman Empire is gone. They'll probably re-emerge later. Not that that matters, because we can't inherit from the Germans anyway. But Syria is right next to Byzantine lands, so they're about one province away. Byzantines start with Trebizond and Anatolia and Georgia in the early period. So we take Armenia, you take Syria. You basically do it as part of either wiping out or corralling the Turks. You know, I might consider... I can't remember if the Turks start with Edessa. I think they do. So you might leave the Turks with like Edessa and or Lesser Armenia so they don't become like a threat. But you take Rum, Armenia, and Syria, and then you build up for your assassins here. From the early period, I mean, think of it like this. In the early period, you start off with Constantinople as the Byzantines, which I believe is at the level of the Citadel. That means you can get 2-star assassins just right out of there. You eventually get up to the fortress level, you get up to the rookery, and now you've got 3-star assassins out of Constantinople. But if you simply take Syria... Alright, we've got another heir. Alfonso is matured. And we've got a bunch of buildings. Alright, if this was a princess, I'd take it, right? Let's see. King Ferdinand is a great builder. That's unfortunate because he's going to die real soon. If you simply take Syria as the Byzantines, then you get your second-level stables, or not stables, your second-level tavern, and you've got 3-star assassins out of here, because second-level tavern gives you 1 star, Syria gives you 2 stars on your assassins. So you can very quickly get 3-star assassins in, you know, a couple of provinces, just very much faster than I have in Spain. And 3 stars is actually really workable. I have been not having trouble with just 3-star assassins, right? You just make enough of them and you can do really well. So I think that's what I would do next. And if I were to do a Byzantine sort of campaign to try to test out... Alright, there we go. We got our Grand Inquisitor here. It is the Grand Inquisitor's calling to root out heresy and dissent wherever he finds it among the Catholic faithful. His presence in a province vastly reduces heresy, increases public zeal, and will usually cow any rebellious population, as he often inspires outright terror. I don't know how true a lot of this flavor text is, right? It may just be flavor text, because anyone can get in there and write stuff in the files of the game. You know, someone who's in charge of the writing may not understand all the mechanics, or may have not gotten the latest memo about things that were changed, or they just weren't, you know, updated quick enough. So all of this may be mistaken, but let's start getting Grand Inquisitors out. I just trained a bunch of these guys, chivalric men-at-arms, because it's occurred to me I have not been doing any of that. Let's get them down here. On one of my playthroughs, the Egyptians actually attacked me, and I want to discourage that because I just don't want to bother with, you know, with that. Let's get a cathedral here. This is going to get us cardinals. So this will be another religious agent that we'll make use of. And in Castile, let's go with the Citadel of Barbican, just for fun. I think that covers everything we need to do. Yeah, let's go for more assassins. You always need them. But basically, you know, the assassins are not the ceiling, or the assassins are not the problem for me. The problem for me figuring out this inheritance mechanic is the mechanic itself. It's not my ability to eliminate AI factions. You can do that with 3-star assassins. So getting 3-star assassins in Syria and Constantinople relatively early as the Byzantines seems like a huge advantage, and then you have just more time to explore that mechanic, right? And you can even get your 5-star assassins out of Syria eventually. Right, once again, no princess. Okay, here we go. Yep, see, so check this out. Dangerous world in which we live, a solid alliance. So, King Laszlo III of Burgundy. Now, I may take this in this timeline simply because Enrique is probably 30 plus, and yeah, we'll just do it. Let's see. That's Felipe. That's Alfonso. There's Enrique. Yeah, he's 33 years old. So this is, I think, a good move. We'll just take it. We're not going to really be concerned, about inheriting from them, because I don't know if it's possible. Now, this, I think, is a different princess. Gosh, I guess we could try it. There's Istvan right here. The problem is that they're a little bit of a tougher target, and there's actually a lot of princes kicking around. So I'm just going to ignore the Hungarians, I think. As I say that, I'm like second guessing. All right, this is actually, yeah, this is part of the problem here. So this is a very pious 4-star general who's not even the prince. This is the prince. It's 45, and because this guy is 51 now, we have less time to make all of this happen. Now, it could be, maybe there's these rebels nearby, and the Turks are weak. Maybe the Hungarians will spread out a little bit into non-border fort provinces and make it easier. We're about to lose a bunch of assassins, basically, is what I'm saying here. Yeah, the horde moved in and took the border fort, so they kept that, rather. Wallachia has a border fort. Bulgaria doesn't, Constantinople doesn't, and Greece doesn't. So there's 3 provinces we could get into, but really the only one would go to Constantinople, then Bulgaria, and then would have, a couple of choices. Let's do it. Let's throw a bunch of guys into Constantinople anyway. But I think that would be the move. And if I, if I didn't inherit, like sort of in my imagined future Byzantines campaign, that'd be kind of okay. That wouldn't be the entire focus of that campaign. It would be just sort of an early Byzantines, let's have fun kind of let's play. But there would be that dimension of, okay, knowing or suspecting some things about how inheritance works, let's kind of get ready for it. And let's see if we can set up the conditions to allow it to happen from as early as we possibly can in the game. Because, again, I think that that is important, and we've had lots of chances, right? So now we're allied with the Hungarians. So maybe it's not a glitch. Maybe the Hungarians are not bugged, because as I think about this, if the game thought that they were Burgundians, then we would be allied with the Burgundians and not the Hungarians. I'm thinking that's just a typo. And I'm thinking, therefore, that when we did not inherit, it was simply like the odds were not with us. It was that random chance thing, or the fact that the princess was the wrong kind of princess or something. All right, we'll leave that 1-star guy. We'll bring you over. This is probably enough. But then again, we do have a lot of border forts. So the Byzantines might be my next campaign, because I don't want to like quit exploring this mechanic, but I also don't want to devote a ton more videos to it, like in this kind of format where it's like the entire purpose of the series. Just because it can, it requires you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. Like if I'm just going to test, I'll test myself, right? I don't need to record, because that actually makes the testing longer. Like if I'm just testing, I can do it without having to pause and talk and explain things. So I think I will continue to test sort of on my own, and I think this is going to be the last assassin that ends up in Constantinople in the year. Then we'll move up to Bulgaria, then we'll see about where the Hungarians are at. But yeah, I think it would be more of a fun let's play. Sort of a just sit and turtle as the Byzantines, try to build up the east and defend yourself against the Mongols, and try to use agents but not be insane about it, because the thing I'm realizing is Inquisitions are really overpowered. Or not Inquisitions, but assassins are, like agents. Alright, Laszlo, 52. He doesn't have any traits that make him particularly vulnerable or strong against assassins, I mean. So we got to go up to Bulgaria. The probably the most likely testing bed for this mechanic, though, is actually the Viking invasion map. So as I mentioned, the speed at which you can get high-level assassins there is greater, but there's a fewer like options, I guess. You know, there's not the same kind of religious aspects. All right, that's a 12% chance of frying a king. Okay, so there's the difference. We had 0% with the other guys. Now, granted, this is a you know, what is he? A 2-piety guy, but you've got 0. Where's my best Inquisitor in Denmark? 4-star Inquisitor, just a regular Inquisitor, and he's got 0 chance of frying a king. But I get enough of these guys, and they have 2 stars too. Huh. So I'll be very curious to see if all of my Grand Inquisitors come out with 2 stars out of Castile. I will be curious. All right, here's our rookery. But yeah, you can get the rookery pretty fast in Viking Invasion because they don't have the advanced castles. So it simply doesn't take as long for you to get up to those assassin buildings. And the campaigns are usually pretty short and straightforward too, so there's not quite as much to deal with. Okay, so there's a Spanish king dead, and now we've got a king married to the Hungarian princess. All right, now, would this have been a princess if we were not married already? It looks like that's an emissary, so probably not. But we also have some heirs. So Felipe is unmarried, okay? So we're kind of all set. Like, we theoretically, Alfonso's unmarried, and he's 19, so I think we're in a pretty good position. I don't like this, though. Let's get a better general up there, a more loyal guy. You can be the 6-star, and then yeah, you can be in charge of Castile. Right, but this is unhappy, so we may have some spies in there. But actually, this is a great place to bring a spy. Portugal, yeah, let's do that. Oops. And what else? Okay, so our agents are now in Bulgaria. This guy does not have any royal blood. Okay, this guy now is available. He's 47. He's 53. 27, 21. All right, these guys are pretty accessible. Isfahan is 18, and then under him is another prince, Kalman, who's 35. So let's throw all of our guys at him right now. 24, pretty decent odds. 17. One of the reloads where I tried, killing the Hungarians before. It was just, they were moving around too much. So sometimes you have annoyances like that. No, just go. Okay, I think we're going to call that good. We're going to leave the other guys here. And the annoying thing is, we can't get here without first going to one of the other places. And there's border forts everywhere. So, I'm going to kind of wait. I'm kind of half-heartedly going after this. I suspect it's not going to work. But let's get him. Let's see if we can get this guy. That's a 50%. So let's throw like all of them in. I think what's going to happen though is we're going to see border forts capture a lot of these guys. Just double checking. There's no royal blood. And then if we get to the point where we've got a... Actually, we should bring Grand Inquisitors right now. Yeah, what am I thinking? Bring you right over. Get right up there, see how we do. We do have Inquisitors, and you don't have a lot of piety, actually. That's a 20%. It's a 20%. We can at least get, like, maybe some bad traits. That's a 60%, you know, cumulative. Let's go with that. I mean, we could have like 10 years for this Hungarian king, so... Now, the thing I've got to check before I forget is my heirs, because... Well, actually, no, he just got married, so he probably doesn't have any. Alright, go free, go free, go free. Alright, so he made it through the border fort, I think, but... Yep, okay, we got this guy. And the King of Hungary's died of an illness, so, yeah. Yeah, a lot of border forts. Alright. Nope. Okay, Alfonso uses charm and fervent. So I think, you know, we're basically done at this point. What does it say about this? Does he have no heirs? No, he's got heirs. He's got like younger brothers and stuff. So there's not a guy of royal blood there. But yes, Prince Samuel is still very much alive. You know, we could try it. 21%. And we don't know what's in Wallachia. I guess we'll go here just to see. Let's bring you guys in. You're probably going to die to border forts, but we'll move you in anyway. Again, I don't know. We're going to see what this does. It's probably not going to do anything because we're, by my sort of hypothesis here, we're not at the right king stage currently. Right, we've got the wrong generation of king because it's not that king who set up the marriage, it's the son of that king. Already knew. And where are we at? But we can go, you know, like it'll be, I guess, just some more evidence. So this is a prince. Actually, our guys made it through the border forts, which is interesting. He's 29. All right, yeah, let's kill the royal blood guy if possible, because he could be annoying. All right, what are you now? He's a devout atheist, which is what you a believer and a devout atheist, right? So basically, it means that it all works out to negative piety. So it makes things a little bit easier. But our Grand Inquisitor is right here. Prince Isfahan is 20. And I gotta think, okay, 13% is not the best, but it's also not the worst. The Hungarians are not able to move into Bulgaria. Let's see, you have royal blood. This is a ransom, okay. If this fails, we'll send the assassins in. It'll sort of switch targets. Just checking trade routes here, and we've got them all where we need them to be. We could do a little more and get some more ships around here to trade with Egypt. And actually, we do have more ships, so let's kind of start that. It's not that I want to trade with Egypt, but I do want to mess them up slightly. Like, in a sense that I want to be able to block some of their ships and transport, since I know that they are theoretically a faction that will want to attack me at some point. Alright, Castile. I guess we may as well go for the fortress then. And, you know, ultimately there's no reason we can't have a 3-star assassin in every province. You were going here. But I just don't think it's super necessary. Okay, yep, go free, go free. Okay, he failed and he's been caught. So we've got a daughter, and I forgot to check heirs, so let's do that now. Sancho. Okay, so this was a... Alright, I don't remember this guy, actually. Sancho. I think he can't be this guy's son, right? Because he got married 5 years ago. He was 33. So, Princess Sancha would be his daughter. But Sancho and Jimena would be this guy's brother. So, we'll just put that there. So eventually he's going to come of age. So, great. Let's bring some more Grand Inquisitors over. And yeah, 2 stars. Okay. This feels familiar, like something that I knew once, but forgot. All right. Yes, there's a guy here. So let's see. 100% chance of success. Let's put both of them there. Now the thing I'm wondering about is, since I gave him a move order into Croatia, and then from Croatia gave him the Inquisition order, are they going to do the Inquisition order this turn or no? All right, now he's got an heir. So this would have been tricky anyway. Okay, we'll keep the assassins here though, just in case something opens up. I guess is not much of a loss if we lose them all. We'll get 5 more. And here we can go for, all right, we've got a rookery. So we've got 5 more assassins coming out of that. 1224 in trade. I guess we could level that up a bit. If someone goes for Aragon, I'm going to get a little nervous. So far it hasn't happened. But Hungary, wouldn't mind wiping them out in a way, because one thing I don't know is how the alliance blocks kind of work in this game. Like, if you keep your head down, it feels like other factions leave you alone. As witnessed by this, like, we have been remarkably, left alone this whole campaign. The exception being, in one timeline, the Egyptians attacked me in Cordoba because I was looking a little vulnerable to them, evidently. Okay, go free, go free. We got him. Let's see if that got him an experience. It did. Jeez. So this is the OP stuff right here. What's the odds of frying the king? Okay, he's actually got a 0% chance of frying that king, and zeal is low here. So let's leave these guys for a little bit. This is 38%. Let's see what that zeal looks like after after a little while, or if the odds improve. So that's 13. And they've got a 0% chance. Let's get to Carpathia. So if I, like, eliminate the Hungarians here, that does a couple of things. One, it allows the Horde maybe to get a bit better. I'm kind of concerned about France and England, and I'd like there to be some check on them. Although, honestly, England's doing surprisingly well. They're allied with France for now. And France is doing other stuff, right? Like crusading in Sicily. Yeah, so I think I didn't mention it, but the Italians did reemerge. Got a Princess Katerina there. I guess, you know what we could do? Our king's 39. Like, he may not have a son. Like, theoretically, right? He could just have daughters or something. We've got 1, 2, 3 princes on the map. He probably will start having sons. But what I'm saying is it's going to be a while before his son takes over. Even when Prince Sancho comes of age, that's going to be his, like, little brother, I think. So what that means is we could get Felipe married. We could get Felipe married to the Italians. We could try that again, right? Just to really prove that this mechanic, doesn't work this way. Actually, we've got an emissary right there. Let's send both of them, because you never know if, like, an assassination may come in. So we're gonna basically be marrying Felipe, this guy, to Princess Katerina, who is, I am sure, this guy's daughter. Gotta be. He got married. He was married at the beginning of the episode here 10 plus years ago. Gotta be his daughter, right? And there's no heirs. Let me just double check that. I think there's no Italian heirs. So this would be a pretty easy thing to check, to test. Probably once the marriage goes through, we're going to get an heir appearing in Corsica. But it kind of doesn't matter because I don't think this is going to work anyway. So we'll just do it. It'll have the effect of shoring up our line in some mild way. And if we can find a way to make the inheritance happen, great. If we can eliminate the faction and sort of get another piece of data, I guess that's also fine. Right, got him in Wallachia, got him in Hungary there with an Inquisition. Alright, losing some assassins. Declined. Okay, this is what we want. Nice. Okay, so a marriage offer from the English. So this is Felipe. Okay, so Enrique, my current king is, I think, Enrique II. Yes, Enrique II. And so his little brother Felipe is marrying Adela of the English, and this is Henry I. All right, we're going to take it. We've got another daughter here. So Enrique married a Hungarian princess. Not that that matters. Let's just double check. I think Sancha and Dulce are his only two daughters. But we've got an English. Yeah, there's Felipe. Okay, Henry. Oh, damn, 70 years old. All right, this is gonna fail. Shoot. There's no way this guy's gonna move out, right? I'm not that lucky. Like, we could kill Prince Alfred. Actually, yes, he's in charge of the stack. Okay. All right, that's a 4%. Let's try it. We're gonna, if nothing else, decrease his piety, most likely. Are you in Ile-de-France? Yeah. Okay. There's not a lot of easy ways in. We can move a bunch of assassins to Aragon, then Toulouse, then Anjou. But Brittany and Normandy and Flanders all have border forts, and so does Ile-de-France, and so does Anjou for that matter, as well as Aquitaine. So, let's see, Prince John, actually. We could go for him. That's 12. And that's 49%. It takes 2 years to train a single Grand Inquisitor, so it's not easy stuff. These guys are like the 1 and the 2 star. Let's take a 3 star. Yeah, let's see if we can go fast. We'll go up to Aquitaine with you. You can go to Aquitaine. Right, there's a 3 star. Yeah, let's try it. Oh, a 4 star. I'm very concerned about that. Figure leaving these lower star assassins on my home territory, they may gain some some experience just by killing spies and things. Let's get a few more because we're gonna lose some. And let's go for 80% farming. All right, we can go back to very high thanks to the spy there. All right, what do we have left in Bulgaria? I guess, like, theoretically, we're still married to a Hungarian princess, so, right, like, there's maybe a chance, but I doubt it, of inheriting here. I know it seems like I've already disproven that, but if there is a randomness to inheritance, then I actually haven't disproven it, right? All I've shown is that it doesn't always work. Alright, now that also is looking like a vulnerable guy. So let's bring the Grand Inquisitors, or just the Inquisitors. 25. I know there's a Grand Inquisitor up here, yep. And so that'll be great odds. Okay, that should be plenty, and then we'll save the assassins for something else. Let's get them out of Wallachia. I should probably get you into Wallachia. We need to get some of these guys into the inland provinces that I can't see. Alright, and we were going to move some of you along the coast also. There we go. Get you in the Malta Channel. So the Hungarians and the English, these are both marriage offers initiated by the AI. Alright, we actually got Prince Alfred here from a regular Inquisitor. And Prince John from the Grand Inquisitor. And this is another Lord or Prince, I guess, that we got. Alright, there's it for the King of England. Damn. Alright, well. All those assassins. Alright, and the Italians just don't want to marry us. That's fine, I guess. But yeah, Felipe married to the English. This would be to Alfonso. And we don't have any other heirs. And we won't for a little while. But, alright, Felipe is married to an English woman. Like, I could still eliminate the English. And just to double check. Just like I'm trying to eliminate the Hungarians, even though I think it's not going to work. And, like, the tragedy is, this is all they've got. Like, their current king, this would be it, I think. There's no other... Let's see. That's actually a 10% chance of success. Yeah, let's get the assassins in. What is that? 50% odds. 66. So we're just throwing everything at him here. And yeah, I'm just going to leave that. We'll let that stand, whatever happens there. Let's see. Okay, yes. King of Navarre goes with the king. Everyone else is looking pretty good. I can never remember if the build orders are completed because we're getting swamped with Inquisition notices. Alright, so we did we get everything? I think we got everything. Let's get all the guys up here. And then we can't move this turn because we can't see the Hungarian king, but next turn we should. I think we're good to assassinate him now. Alright, fail. That got him. Alright, Sicilian king is gone. And the King of England is gone, and we didn't inherit. Well, the Germans reappeared, so that's going to keep the... Oh, good. Okay, we had a hand in that then. That's nice. This is actually nice, because the only concern I had in wiping out the English was that the French would have too easy of a time. And they still might, but at least the Germans are going to be around. Alright, even though it's a pretty small little rebellion there, at least it doesn't border me directly. They can grab Aquitaine, maybe Anjou. I'd like them to stay out of Aragon if possible. Okay, so we know that that has failed. And let's just, you know, double triple check with Hungary. Again, we want to check for men with royal blood, because even if the announcement says that there is no heir, I'm not sure that that's really true, right? Or we've seen cases where that's not true. So, right, so all of them just go up. But yes, the fact that that I'm no longer concerned about being able to eliminate a faction just shows you that agents are really strong. These guys have no upkeep, by the way, right? So, like, yes, every turn I'm spending 200 or 400, you know, training agents. You know, probably more than that. Probably more like 1,000 if we count the Inquisitors and things. It just doesn't matter, right? Like, it is just so so minuscule compared to the amount of making through trade that you can easily afford it. Alright, so we wiped out the English. Let's get my 4-star assassin hero out of here. Although maybe we won't be able to. Let's get him actually. Let's go to Toulouse because there's no border forts there. Grand Inquisitors also should be someplace. I feel like they should be someplace kind of safe. Leave one in there just to keep an eye on things. So we failed to inherit from the English, and I think that is because it was not the king in whose reign the marriage happened. Same thing with Hungary. Yep, we did not inherit. And I think it's because... Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, we lost them all, but, you know, a lot of them made it, actually, or some of them. Let's go back to Bulgaria, Constantinople, and then back home. So, yeah, like, I think this is just down to the fact that it's in the wrong king's reign. It was a marriage offer initiated by the AI, but if you can't take out the king who arranged the marriage with you and end the faction by his death, then I think the deal is off. The original inheritance potential is off. We've lost a lot of assassins, so we'll just keep this up and also keep up the Grand Inquisitors. I'll keep them in, like, provinces with ports in them so we can move them swiftly. So Poland's going to get kind of big. But, you know, again, the nice thing now is I'm not allied with the Hungarians or the English anymore. So I may be viewed as a more attractive alliance partner for factions that might have been allied with them in other circumstances or at war with them. Okay, great. Sancho. And we've got a son. So let's put his name down. And again, Enrique II. Wait, Sancho. Ooh, Sancho is his son. Oh, okay. I don't... That's weird to me. Right, like he was married... So the only reason Sancho would take precedence over Felipe and Alfonso would be if Sancho is the son of the current king, right? Because he's younger. So he's got to be. All right, I'll put him down as Enrique's heir. Okay, he's not Enrique's brother. So he's Enrique's son. And we've got Fernando coming as well. I guess, you know, what I'm going to check, I don't think this is going to be the case, but if Fernando comes of age and becomes the heir apparent, then that would change how I view the family tree. But, let's put her up in Ryazan. And you, I didn't mean to drop her in Trebizond. We'll go to Chernihiv. Okay, so now we've got the Mongols coming down, you know, bothering the Egyptians. The Egyptians building a fort in Syria. And the Papal States are spreading out. The Italians. Alright, the French want to marry my princess. No deal. Yeah, we're just allied with the Pope. 61. I mean, you know, this is the thing. Once you wipe out a faction, they're gone. And if they reemerge, they reemerge with, like, no points. So now the, for some reason, the Germans are getting the Hanseatic League points, which is completely ridiculous. They don't have any ships in the North Sea, so how are they even getting it? It's just a little bonus for them, evidently. But, yeah. And he's got a couple of heirs already here. How's my influence, by the way? 45 years old, not bad. Not bad influence level. Okay. We'll just keep the Grand Inquisitors in Castile, I guess. It'll be annoying, but there's no way around that. It's always annoying to deal with Grand Inquisitors. Or just Inquisitors all over the map. Let's see, you can go here, and I guess you can move down here, and that's it, really. We don't need to do too much else. What I could do is maybe put some guys in the middle provinces of the sea. Yeah, like you can go into the Western Med, just to kind of safeguard. But we've got no prospects at the moment. So I'll see in the next couple of years if our Prince Sancho, a very eligible bachelor, next in line for the Spanish throne, if anyone feels like sending any princesses his way. There's another daughter. That doesn't matter. You know, maybe we could try with the Italians again. He's 50 years old. Let's just check for heirs. Okay, there's one. But that's really doable. He's got no piety. We could probably take him out with a Grand Inquisitor. That guy does not have royal blood. None of these guys do. Okay, so they're at war right now with the French. They do have a few allies, so maybe that'll impact how they see things. Should I request it, or should I wait? Like, if I go now, I think I have better odds of wiping out the faction in the quote-unquote right way. Because, like this, that was 3%, so that's kind of low. Zeal's 50. Zeal's not bad. We could get, what's that? 32. So yeah, get our, you know, Grand Inquisitors from around the map. Let's get you guys out of Hungary. You don't need to be there. Can leave one in Hungary, and the rest can get out to ports. You guys, I said I was bringing you home, but I haven't yet. So you've got to go to Constantinople first. But actually, I don't know if there's any princesses. Oh, there's one. Sophia is 25. Katerina is 23. So this is the one we were trying for, wasn't it? I mean, we've got 18-year-old Prince Sancho. Come on, ladies. He's secretly perverted. And how old is my king again? He's like 38. 46. Okay, time flies. Let's try it. Let's see if they'll take the marriage offer now. Oh, shoot. Okay. She's coming to me. Damn it. Alright. Oh, okay. Damn it. Oh, I should have waited. Oh, I should have waited. All right. Damn. Let's take it. We've got one. Okay. So Alfonso. Is Felipe married? Yeah, Felipe is already married to the English woman. Alfonso is married to the Italian. This is the offer. And Sancho is married to an Italian. I don't know how this is going to work. The king of the Italians is Marino II. Okay. He's 51. And, okay, there's the prince. Oh, jeez, can we do it? We've got like a million assassins here. Let's try the Inquisitors first. 32. 32. What else? Right, we've got you guys. 32. Alright, let's find Grand Inquisitors. Is that really it? Alright, I may have too many agents. Alright, Khazar. Yeah, I thought I had some that were really high level. So the Croatian one is 4 stars. So it's 32% there. 32% there. Alright, I think that's fine. Right? There's so many 32% chances. What is your odds? 3. Let's just go with that. I'm not going to search for more Grand Inquisitors at the moment. Yeah, that's right. You're in Khazar. All right, let's bring you over too. Okay. So I don't know how this is going to go. Like, because Sancho is married to an Italian. We're now allied with the Italians, but not because of Sancho's marriage. It's because of Alfonso's marriage, or, yes, Alfonso's marriage. So my heir is married to an Italian, but this was by offer initiated by me. Alfonso is married to an Italian by an offer from the AI. Let's just go with it. Wow, the Egyptians going into Brittany. All right, we got him. Okay. All right, just checking. I know this is tedious. But I want to be totally sure. There's nothing new here. Right? Like, all of this is just the same as it was. And so that means if we kill him, or if he dies without an heir, there's even a 13% chance of us just burning the king at the stake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, do we have any other Grand Inquisitors just lying around? I think they're all accounted for. All right, so do we go with that? Do we also throw in assassins? That might make sense. %34 odds. Like, this is way overkill. We shouldn't need to do this much, but let's just do it. And then I might make a save here before queuing all this up, because I'm a little curious, you know, how this is going to count. It's one thing when you're using assassins to kill people, because the AI theoretically does not know that that's happening, or they don't know that it's coming from you. Now, I don't know if that's really the case, but right, they're theoretically an invisible unit. And I don't know if the AI kind of tracks that and holds it against you, but it would seem like they would not, right? With Inquisitors, it is absolutely the case that the AI knows that that's happening. You know, you get a message to that effect when an Inquisition burns one of your guys. Now, I don't think it tells you what faction started the Inquisition. Alright. Make a save. But I guess what I'm wondering here is, will it matter? Ink Assassin. That's what I'm trying to say there. Alright, resume game. Because if this doesn't work, is it because you know, because of the Inquisitors doing it? There's lots of factors though that are involved here, because again, we've got a weird kind of marriage setup. We are allied. We are allied through a marriage alliance, but we've got 2 Italian princesses. All right, we got him there by assassin, but we didn't get it. All right. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reload. And I'm going to try just assassinating, because the Inquisitors didn't do it anyway. So, Spanish, there we go. So all I'm going to do is cancel the Inquisitions, which is actually going to be much more annoying. Alright, so I think that's that. Someone was from Khazar, I thought, but I guess not. Well, we can check here if there's any Grand Inquisitors on the job. I guess there are none. So let's try it again. This time it'll be just assassins going in. I don't think it's going to make any difference. I think, again, this is either due to a quirk of how the marriages are worked up, or it's because of the random chance, right? Like that you just, sometimes you don't inherit. I'm kind of surprised none of them worked. Damn. Well, you see, he's not resilient or anything. I mean, he may just die of old age regardless. We've got a civil war going on here. No, this is just a peasant revolt. Alright. Maybe we can try again. We've got lots of 3-star assassins lying around, although I have been a little negligent here. Let's see, where are my 3 stars? There are none here. I guess I took them all out, but not here, so we'll send you. I mean, so he's 49, right? Is it because it needs to be Alfonso who is in the heir position, the heir apparent? If so, that's not going to happen for a little while, right? Because he is a younger brother of the current king. So, in fact, it's not going to happen, because if this king dies, Enrique, then Sancho's going to take over, and Alfonso and Felipe will be disinherited, I believe, because they're his uncle. So that means that, yeah, if the inheritance is only being tracked through Alfonso, and if he needs to be the heir or the king, then we won't see that happen. I'm quite sure. So we'll just, we'll just do what we can. And that'll, give us, again, another point of data about all of this. What I really hope, though, is that there's not a random chance element, and there's just some aspect that I am missing that I can figure out. Because a random chance, obviously, right? It's like, it makes everything so much harder to test. Right, you're already on the trail, so let's just go with that. You're another 3, okay. And actually, I brought you guys down, so you can come over as well. Maybe I should save them, but, first round didn't work. Okay, and actually I'm noticing there's a title up there in Leon. That is probably the cathedral being built. Alright, we got him, but I don't think we got it. Yep. Okay. So, let's get our assassins back if we can. Alright. Yep, you're there. And I think that's the last one. I should move these guys out too before there is a, like a public revolt or something that destroys the port. So if I could go back in time, and I don't think I really can. But if I could go back to the autosave, if there is one from before, like, when is this? 13:45, that's 15 minutes ago. Alright, we're going to resume the game. I'm going to save the game. I'm going to go back to that 15 minutes ago autosave and see if that is from before we requested the princess. Because that might change things, right? Alright, we're saving 12:55. Alright, yeah, we'll just save that as that. We'll go back and we will load the autosave from like 15 minutes ago just to see where that was. And we're checking to see if Sancho and Alfonso are married. Okay, and they're not. Or at least we're not allied with the Italians. So there's Sancho. And do I have emissaries going? I do. Request marriage. Okay. So thank goodness for the autosave. Yes, cancel that marriage. And that's it. So we've still got a bunch of assassins where we need them. Let's go ahead. And, well, I was going to say, like, let's preemptively start burning this prince, but maybe we shouldn't. I'm going to make a save here. This seems like an important point. Maybe we won't get the chance because, right, this time, we're going to call this test. Whoops. This time they may send us the princess and shuffle that prince under the king's stack, and we don't get a chance to do anything about it. All right, here comes the princess. All right, Princess Laura and Prince Sancho. All right. Yep. Marino the Second. We'll take it. Okay. So now we've got Prince Sancho married to an Italian princess under Marino the Second. And let's see, do we still have the heir out, or did he shuffle? No, he's right here. So Enrico. Let's kill him with Inquisitors. I think that's what we did last time. Maybe this screws it up, right? Like maybe you can't inherit once you start taking Inquisition action against somebody. That would seem a little silly. Yes, you guys. But at least this time we've got the right, I think, the right marriage to the right prince. This guy needs to die without heirs. Now, he may have a 10-year-old son or something. So we want to keep eyes out for that. Or like, I guess what I'm saying is we can't necessarily count on him just dying of old age. Let's get you out of here. All right, got him. Okay. And again, this should be totally fine. Nothing new there. I'm just going to send assassins at this point because we should know. That's 34. Yeah, you guys are coming back down here. That's right. All right, what I need to do for my sanity and yours is establish a province of 3-star assassins. Like the guys I really want to use, they should be alone in a province just to keep it all organized. I'm tempted to stop here, but you know, we saw how that sometimes just doesn't work. Sometimes you do need to send like a dozen assassins at somebody. But again, this is just for testing. This is not... I do not play like this. Like, this is not a fun way to play all the time. It's neat to do every now and then. I remember being very excited the first time I eliminated a faction this way. Because it seemed so hard. Really all it was that when I was trying it initially to use assassins, I would send them out one at a time. And I would say, oh, at 34%, wow, I wonder if you can do it. You know, and you invariably wouldn't. But if you send, you know, 15 of them, then chances go up quite a bit. All right, let's just call that. Now, if this works, it still doesn't explain why the Hungarians didn't work. Alright, but it doesn't work. So, that suggests to me that the Hungarian thing that I was describing earlier was not necessarily a fluke of the Hungarians. There's some other thing that I don't know what it is. Alright, we got another son. Alright, so we'll enter that name. There's Prince Gark. Alright. Fernando's still a long way off, and now Gark. Okay, so, you know, our heir is married. We've got a couple of heirs, or one heir anyway, who's like an uncle who's going to be married, or who can be married. So I guess that's potentially useful. But yeah, our line is secure, but it doesn't look like we're going to make it happen, unless I get lucky, right? So that seems to be what it is. It's kind of a luck thing, and it's either a random percentage chance that if you set things up, you're going to get it, you're going to inherit, or it is something about the princess, and maybe the princess that we married was not the right kind somehow, but I find that hard to believe. The Italian Doge at the time was like in his 50s, and I can't imagine that princess would have been anyone but his daughter, right? This was a re-emergent faction. For a while, he was not married at all, and so there wouldn't have been any princesses like waiting to mature, I don't think. So yeah, I think there's a random chance attached to making inheritance work. There's like a certain setup that you have to have, perhaps. Maybe it's got to be a marriage alliance initiated by the AI, and then past that, the simplest explanation I have is it's a 20% chance that it's going to work, or it's a 10% chance that it's going to work, and so you just roll the dice. So that's what we'll continue to do. We will continue the campaign. I'm sure factions are going to reemerge. The Germans have reemerged. We'll get the English back. We'll get the Italians back at some point. The Hungarians will come back, most likely. Maybe the Burgundians and these Swiss will emerge in this campaign, which would be interesting. They can get princesses too, I believe. So we'll just have to keep an eye on all of it and see if it works out. But thanks for joining me. Let me know if you have any ideas, and I'll see you in the next one.